सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya.
So, we saw in the last few classes, on the last class rather, Arjuna asked a whole favor from Krishna to tell him about his glories. And that was spread over quite a few verses. And today we are going to see Krishna's answer. So, we look at verse number 19. Chapter 10, verse number 19, we will chant. Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavan
Antate Kathayashyami
Antate Kathayishyami
Divya Hyatma Vibhutayaha
Divya Yatmavibhutaya
Adhanyata Kuru Shreshta
Pradhanyatam Kuru Sreshtha
Nastayatyanto Vistarasya Me
Nastyanto Vistarasya Me
Asyatyanto Vistarasya Me
Nastyanto Vistarasya Me.
So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Lord said, what is he now going to say? Right? Hey Kuru Shreshtaha. So, Shreshtaha among the Kurus, the best among the Kuru family, Hantaha. So, the word Hantaha here, let us not confuse with Hanti. Hanti means skill, but Hantaha is something like a, it's an exclamation mark, you can say. It can take many meanings. And so, depending on the context, so it can be surprise, it can be shock, it can be, in this case, okay. Okay, he's saying, oh, very well, hey Arjuna, very well, since you ask. What is there? Te Atma Vibhutaya Kathayashyami. I will tell you all about what you are asking. Atma Vibhutaya means what? My own glories. Kathayashyami, I will tell you. But Mama Pradhanyataha. He says, I will talk only about a few predominant glories. Why does he say this? Because Arjuna said Vistarena. Vistarena means exhaustive, completely, in detail. And Arjuna had asked for in detail, but Krishna is saying, I am going to choose only the main ones. Why so? Antaha na asti. There is no end to my glories. Why is that? Because the entire universe, which is infinite, is my glory. And therefore, how many can I really tell you? And therefore, I shall choose only the main ones. And that is what we are going to talk about in the next few verses. And remember that when talking about the main ones, Krishna does a very beautiful thing. He talks about one of the main ones in the first verse, which deals with all this, that is verse number 20. And then he ends up with the other main one. What are the two main glories of consciousness of Atma?
Can we say Srishtikarta and Sthitikarta?
Atma.
It's Ananta, Ananta, Satchitananda.
Satanchit. Satanchit is talking about. So what he does is, he's going to take the chit first, and then he'll give a whole list, and he'll end up by talking about Sat. So consciousness principle he takes up first. Then he gives a whole list of Anatma glories. And finally, he'll end up with the existence principle. So let's look at the 20th verse. Very beautiful verse. Very nice one. Ahamatma Gudakesha
Ahamatma
Gudakesh
Gudakesha
Sarvabhutashrayasthitah
Sarvabhutasya
Ahamadishcha Madhyam cha
Ahamadishya Madhyam
Bhutanam Anta Eva cha.
Bhutanamanta Eva cha.
Very beautiful verse. Very well, very worthwhile, memorizing and keeping it. Hey Gudakesha. So this Gudakesha Arjuna, and therefore the list of glories, Vibhuti, it begins here and goes all the way up to the verse number 38, I think. Okay. Now he starts with, remember that Ishvara is what? Krishna is Ishvara here. And Ishvara is a mixture of Nirguna and Saguna. And so Krishna starts with Nirguna Vibhuti. The first is Chit. So he starts in this verse with Chit, consciousness principle, and ends up in verse number 39 with Sat, the existence principle. Both are Nirguna. Consciousness is Nirguna, existence is Nirguna. And between all these, no, not all these, between these two Nirguna glories, Nirguna descriptions, all the other verses, 21 to 38, they give you a list of Saguna glories, attributes of Ishvara. While here we have the attributeless part of Ishvara, the consciousness principle, ending up with the existence principle. What is this consciousness principle? This is actually the highest glory of Ishvara. What is that? His own nature, which is consciousness alone. And why is consciousness said to be a great glory? Because it is because of that consciousness alone that everything has life in this world. A bacteria is alive, a plant is alive, animal is alive, all because of this higher nature of Ishvara, which is consciousness principle alone. And if we are alive and capable of appreciating this wonderful glory, that also is because of the consciousness principle alone. And it is this is being given for the purpose of my nididhyasanam, my constant meditation. That the fact that I am alive, what is that? I, the RCA, am alive. I, the reflected consciousness, the Jiva, am alive. That fact is the manifestation of the principle of consciousness in Ishvara, the glory of consciousness in Ishvara. And it is because of this particular glory, because of the fact that it is Ishvara's consciousness principle which is responsible for all life. That is why we say Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha. That the idea is that there should be respect for all life, not just that of human beings. And therefore, what he does, what Krishna does, he gives in verse number 20 the consciousness principle for us to meditate upon, which is Nirguna, attributeless. And the ending in verse number 39, he gives the existence principle for us to meditate upon. That is also Nirguna. And in the middle, he gives a whole lot of Sagunas. Why is that so? Because there may be people, there may be students of Bhagavad Gita for whom, I'm not saying you guys, okay, you guys are all advanced students, but there may be some students for whom this attributeless Nirguna principle is difficult to comprehend. And therefore, he gives a whole list of Sagunas also to make it more understandable. So, this is the structure. Nirguna glory in the beginning, Saguna glory in the middle, again Nirguna glory at the end. Okay, now here Shankara suddenly remembers, that Gudakeshaha he has not explained. What is the meaning of Gudakeshaha? He gives the meaning over here. He says Gudaka means, anybody knows what Gudaka means?
Sleep.
Yes, Nidra. Okay, so Gudaka means Nidra, sleep, but sleep means which guna?
Tamas.
Tamaguna.
Tamas.
Tamas is the English word. Okay, we say tamoguna,
Tamas.
right? Or if you're adding tamas to something else, tamas rajas, what is it? But we say tamoguna, huh? And Gudaka Ishaha. That is the breakup. Gudaka plus Ishaha. Ishaha is what?
God.
God or master. Master, the Lord. And therefore, Gudaka Ishaha means the master of Gudaka, which is Tamoguna. And therefore, here he says that, Shankara says that the master of Tamoguna is called Gudakeshaha. In other words, one who has mastered Tamoguna, what does he have mastery over?
Sleep. So he's the most sattvic one.
Ignorance.
Sorry?
Ignorance.
He's
No.
mastered over tamoguna, so ignorance and delusion and everything.
Fine, but in practical terms,
Master over sleep.
Sleep.
if you are mastering your sleep, what actually have
You
you
are
mastered?
always awake. Is
No. He says, remember that in sleep, what is not functional?
Tattva.
Intellect. The mind.
Indriyas are not functional. Okay. So therefore, Shankara says Gudakeshaha is to be taken as Gudaka Ishaha, master of Tamoguna, which is to be taken as Jitendriyaha, the one who has mastered his sense organs. Okay, now somebody said who never sleeps. Now we need to look at things very practically. Is it possible for you to never sleep? What is the main function of sleep?
It revitalizes the mind and the body.
It repairs damage in the body, cell damage. Plus it repairs it takes away your tiredness. Therefore, conquering sleep should never be taken as never sleeping. That is just not possible for any living being. Every living being needs sleep. But conquering sleep means you have enough control over your sense organs so that you do not sleep at the wrong time. Right? What is the wrong time? While driving.
afternoon or daytime. The class.
While driving, you don't sleep. In Geeta class, you don't sleep. And worst of all, you don't sleep when talking to your wife. Okay. So these three things you should understand. Once you've got this, you are a Gudakeshaha. Now, that is one meaning. Then Shankara gives an alternative meaning. Gudaka can be taken as Gudha Kesha. You see, the same word is being broken. One is Gudaka Ishaha, Lord of Tamogana. One is Gudha Isha, or Keshaha, Gudha Keshaha. What is Keshaha?
Air. Air.
Gudha means
Air.
thick.
Thick.
Thick. Therefore, Gudha Keshaha can be taken as somebody who has got very, very thick and long hair. Right? So this is two meanings. You can take whichever meaning you want. But in the context of the wars, or in the context of fighting, which meaning should be taken?
Sense organs.
Jitendriya.
Jitendriyas, because it is said that, remember that, in the stories, Arjuna fights demons, right? Rakshasas. And Rakshasas go stronger when When?
Night.
At night. And therefore, Gudakeshaka is bad meaning has to be taken. The one who conquers sleep so that they can fight in the night. Okay. Anyway, all Anatma discussions. So we'll not go too much into that. So that is one thing. The second word is Aham Atma. Right? So Atma is what? Pratyak Atma. So Shankara says this Pratyak word, what does it normally mean when you say Pratyak Atma? Whenever you say Atma, you use the word Pratyak Atma. Pratyak is taken as
Close to me.
inside you, right? So that Atma is inside you. The inner Atma is called Pratyak Atma. But Shankara says there's another meaning for inner, for Pratyak, which can mean different. And therefore, both meanings you have to apply together. The inner Atma inside, which is different. Now, when you apply that meaning, the inner Atma, which is different from what?
From Atma and other people outside of you.
Anybody?
It's different from the RM.
Okay, granted. So, different from Sukshma Shariram, Sthula Shariram, Karana Shariram, different from 5 koshas, different from the 3 avasthas. Okay. So, if you remember Tattva, Sthula, Sukshma, Karana Sharirat, Vyatiriktaha, Panchakosha Atitaha, Avastha Traya Sakshi. That is the meaning of Pratyagatma. The one which is different from the bodies, at the same time, it is found inside you, inside the body. Okay. Now, I'm giving each of these words because it's extremely important. And each of these words you should study properly, sort of, engrave it in your memory so that when you read this verse, you never forget. So, Aham Atma is over, Gudakesh is over. Then, Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthitaha. That's the breakup of the word. Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthitaha. Ashaya means Antarhardi, inner heart. Okay. Ashaya is inner heart. So, Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Sthitaha. This Atma is situated in the heart of every living being. So, not just humans, animals, plants, scorpions, cockroaches, mosquitoes. Okay. And there's a Shankara doesn't talk much about this more than this. He just says Antarhridi. There is a commentator in the Bhagavad Gita called Anandagiri. So he says this Ashaya should be taken as that place in your body where your Vidya Karma Purvam Prajna. Purvam Vidya Karma Prajna is there. Which means all your Purva, previous karma, knowledge, vasanas. Vidya, karma, prajna. All your previous karma, vasana and knowledge is situated. Right? So it's taken as the heart, literally meaning the heart, but the heart is the golakam for what?
Antahkarana.
Antakarana. Right? So all this you have to, whenever you read this, all these ideas should come up. That this Atma, Pratyak Atma, which is different from the 3 bodies, is situated inside you, in that place where all your previous karma, vasana, knowledge, etc. is there in the Sukshma Shariram. Right? And in what form is Bhagavan there? So that is not mentioned here. You have to mention is in the form of Sakshi Chaitanyam. It witnesses. Sakshi Chaitanyam means what? The witness consciousness principle. It witnesses the presence of the thoughts. It also witnesses what? Is the witness conscious principle Only witnessing the presence of thoughts.
Absence of thoughts.
When does it witness the absence of thoughts?
Sleep. Deep sleep. Deep sleep.
Sleep is a very, what they call,
Sushupti.
yes, sleep is a very, what they call, a word which can have multiple interpretations. So says Sushupti. In Sushupti Avastha, it witnesses the absence of thoughts also. So this much is here. And Shankara adds below this, what is the purpose of the description? Nityam Dhyayam. You should meditate on this chit aspect of Brahman all the time. Which means, what should you do? You should take yourself as the locus, the alambanam, and invoke this Brahman on that alambanam. And then Nityam Dhyayam. You should meditate. So it's a particular form of upasana. It's called Ahangraha Upasana. Shankaracharya is presenting this particular line as Krishna is telling Arjuna, not just for the purpose of information, but he's telling Arjuna that you should meditate upon this all the time. As what? Not as something outside you, as this. That is why inside the heart. So what you're doing is you're invoking the Lord inside on your inside you on yourself. You are the alambanam. You're invoking the Lord upon yourself, and then you are meditating. So this particular thing is called ahangara upasana. Remember, this is not jnanam. I hope that the idea is clear. The distinction should be clear. You are invoking the Lord upon yourself. So you are imagining that you are the locus, the alambanam as it is called, and on that alambanam you are invoking Ishvara. This is the same thing you do when you invoke Shiva upon the Shivalingam. There Shivalingam is the alambanam and you're invoking Shiva on Shivalingam. But here the alambanam is you, right? And on you are invoking Ishvara. It is a visualization alone. So this is the upasana. It is not jnana, right? So what are you doing? In this upasana, you are saying that I am Ishvara. What is the advantage? I get rid of any sense of inferiority which I have through this upasana. It's a very important idea because if you think you are a dasaha, you are a slave, you are finite, you are limited, you cannot come to jnanam at all. You cannot come to Vedanta with that idea in your mind. And therefore, this ahangara upasana, claiming, not claiming, visualizing yourself as Ishvara, addressing all the various inferiority complexes within you, correcting your self-image. This is the first upasana which you should be doing as an advanced seeker. I hope it's clear.
That means we are still in duality.
Of course, you are in duality because you are not come to jnanam at all. What you are doing is addressing your inferiority complexes, correcting your self-image, right? All your life, your husband and wife has told you that you are a stupid, useless fellow. You have to correct that in this meditation. Your parents have told you you are useless. Your friends have told you you are an idiot. With that negative self-image, you cannot come to jnana properly. And so this ahangara upasana is the first upasana to correct all those problems. Okay. Here Shankara adds a very, sorry?
Is this the same as the Atma Puja?
Atma Puja also you can do. It's the same thing. You are worshipping Ishvara on yourself. But here, since the locus is you, what you are trying to do is say that I am Ishvara. Remember, it is not jnanam, it is upasana only. By invoking Ishvara on yourself, you are saying that all the gunas of Ishvara, I also have them. It is imagination only, it is visualization only, but it is very important upasana. So we'll see
Acharya ji,
more of this when, sorry.
will it be different on yourself or within yourself? Does that mean differently? The Ishvara within yourself or the
Within
invoking
yourself
upon?
is the perception of Ishvara within yourself. Here you are using the body as a locus,
Okay.
as a alambanam. You have to invoke on a alambanam, right? You have to invoke on a locus only. Some substratum has to be there on which you invoke Ishvara. For example, when you do Shiv Puja, what do? You invoke Lord Shiva on Shivalingam. When you do other Vishnu Puja, you invoke Lord Shiva on what?
Aligram.
Saligramam. Therefore, you always have some alambanam, some object. It's like a coat hanger, you have to hang the coat on a hanger. You can't just leave it around. So you have to hang the Ishvara on some coat hanger. That coat hanger in your case is this body yourself. Antarhridaya, in your own mind.
Oh, Acharya, we
Yeah.
did a verse on that Uddharet Atmanam, where again he spoke about how that was, of course, no alambanam or anything described, but
That
that
is
was
knowledge.
also about,
That is not.
okay,
That's also about correcting your self-image. Correct. You're right about
yes,
that.
yeah,
Do not
esteem,
let yourself become depressed.
right,
Okay.
yes,
Now,
thank
at the end of the Upasana, after the first line, Shankara says, there may be people who are not able to do this Upasana. Remember, this Upasana is called Abheda Upasana. Abheda means what?
There is no distinction
Between
yourself and the Ishvara.
we have to be very careful when you say these things.
Jiva Ishvara Bheda doesn't exist.
No, if Jiva Ishvara Bheda doesn't exist, then it is Jnana. But here you are saying the Upasaka. On the Upasaka, the Upasyam, that is Ishvara, is being invoked. Therefore, since there is no separate object on which you are invoking Ishvara. You get my point? Supposing you are invoking Ishvara on Shivalingam, then you are the Upasaka, the Upasyam Shiva is being invoked on something different from you, which is the Shivalingam. Right? So there is a Upasaka, Upasyam Bheda. Invocation is somewhere else. But here it is Abheda Upasana, Ahangara Upasana. You are invoking Ishvara onto yourself. There is no difference between the locus and the Ishvara who is being invoked. So it is called Abheda Upasana. Right? So in case you are not able to do that, Shankara says, then what should you do? You should go to the other upasanas which are enumerated later, which are Bheda upasanas. Right? So this basically is Nirguna upasana. Later on will come Saguna upasana. So Shankara says, in case for some reason you find that you are not able to do this upasana properly, Abheda upasana properly, then you should go to Bheda upasana. Upasana with a difference where the attributes are different, the invocation is different, the locus is different. There is a whole list of things which are going to be talked about. The moon, Maharishis, horses, elephants, snakes. You'll find there's a whole list coming up. And then Shankara says, okay, what is the question here? Here you are saying that I can do upasana on myself, which is Abheda upasana. And if you can't do that, for whatever reasons, if you're not mentally prepared to do that, then you can do the same upasana on anything in the world. The question is, why is it possible to meditate upon any object in this world, even if it is not you? Shankara says, look at second line. That is the reason. What is second line? Aham adishya madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. Because I, Bhagavan, Adihi, I am the beginning, I am Srishti Karanam. I am Madhyam, middle, Sthiti Karanam. I am Antaha, I am the Laya Karanam, end also. Of what? Bhutanam. Of all living beings. So the idea conveyed here is something which we have to remember whenever we read these lines. Gold is the karanam for what?
For ornaments,
All ornaments.
various ornaments.
Therefore, is it correct to say that all ornaments are gold only?
Mm.
Yes, in the context
No.
of this, yes. Otherwise, there's artificial jewelry.
Anybody has doubts?
There can be other ornaments made from pearls and other
No,
metals.
that's different. We are saying we are talking about one particular thing. Okay, only gold ornaments. Remember, in the Indian culture, you don't. The Vedic culture, ornaments are only gold. In fact, if you wear a silver ornament and go in the village, see what happens to you. They'll say, "Oh, are you so poor that you cannot even get a single gold ornament?" You know, my wife used to be very fond of silver earrings. So when we just went got married, I took her to my ancestral house, and she would love to wear the silver earrings. You know, the first thing my grandmother said that you come here, I will give you gold earrings. Don't let her wear this. You see, in the old culture, gold alone is ornament. So it's that context that we're talking about. So all ornaments are gold only. Deriving from there, he's saying, Aham Adishya Madhyam cha Antacha. I am the Karanam of everything. And therefore, all Karyams are what? Ishvara only. Remember, the cause exists in the past. Before the ornament was created, gold was there. When the ornament is there, gold is there. When the ornament is destroyed and melted back, still gold will be there. So Karanam exists in the past, in the present, in the future. Bhagavan alone, Ishvara alone was there in the past, is there today, and will be there in the future. If you want to hold on to anything permanently, you can only hold on to Ishvara. If you hold on to anything other than Ishvara, you will find that there is no security. Right? And therefore Krishna is saying that I am the non-different nimitta upadana karanam. Abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. I am the non-different instrumental and material cause. Nothing is separate from me. Therefore, refine your understanding, whatever you meditate upon. Even if you are meditating upon that mosquito which is biting you just now, what are you doing? You are meditating only upon me, Ishvara. That is the refinement in your understanding which you will bring. Okay. So this is
Acharya,
yeah,
quick
please go on.
So what will be the difference in the results of Abheda Upasana and Bheda Upasana?
No difference. Both will give Chitta Shuddhi.
Hmm.
The thing is that Abheda Upasana will, improve your self-image also. Bheda Upasana may not.
Ji, thanks.
Okay. Now we go to verse number 21. Adityanam aham Vishnu.
आदित्यानामहं विष्णुः
Jyotisham Raviramshuman.
ज्योतिषां रवि अंशुमान्
Marichir Marutamasmi.
मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि
Marichir Marutamasmi.
मरीचिर्मरुतामस्मि
Shatranam aham shashi.
नक्षत्राणां शशि
So now he comes to Saguna glories, Saguna Vibhuti, and he starts giving a list of all glorious things in creation. So Adityanam Aham Vishnu. Among the Adityas, I am Vishnu. So you might get confused. There is only one Aditya, is it?
No, there are many.
Yes.
Like
12.
there are 12 Adityas. So one for each month. Why do you say that? So it's called Dwadasha Aditya, 12 Adityas. Why do you say that? Because in each month, the the experience which you get from the sun, it varies, right? Like in the month which just went by, in May, the sun roasts you. It's very, very hot. But the January, February sun, it is pleasant. You actually seek it out and sit outside, especially people at colder places, right? Now, each of these suns have got a name. And that is what you do in Surya Namaskar, the 12 names of Aditya. If you remember the Surya Namaskar mantra, okay. Now, why are they called Adityas? Because they are born to whom?
Aditi.
Aditi. That is the name of the
Aditi.
mother. And now, if you read the Puranas, the first born among the 12 Adityas, his name was Vishnu. And therefore, he says, Adityanam Aham Vishnu. This is not Lord Vishnu, okay? The name of the firstborn Aditya was Vishnu. So I am one of the Adityas known by the name Vishnu. It is one of the 12 sons. One of them is called Vishnu. This is not Narayana. Okay. Now there are many commentators, and there is a very famous commentator called Madhusudana Saraswati, Buddhartha Deepika. So he gives a different interpretation. He says Vishnu should be taken as Vishnu's avatara, Vamana avatara. So in that case, what happens? Among the devas, I am the Vamana avatara. That is one more interpretation. It doesn't matter which interpretation it is. Remember that all these are based on mythology alone. So whichever we take, it is fine. It doesn't take away from what is being conveyed. What is being conveyed? That everything glorious, that glory belongs not to you, but to Ishvara alone. Then Jyotisham Ravi Ramshuma. Okay. Jyotisham Ravihi Anshuman. That is the breakup. Jyotisham means among the Jyotis. What are the Jyotis?
Light.
What is the word?
Light.
Among the light. So you want to explain it more. What do you say?
Anything that gives out light. So here
Sun
we
and
can
moon
include
and
the sun, moon, and the stars.
Correct. So here you have to say Jyotish. Jyoti means any source of light in the sky, which is what? Stars, planets, sun, of course the sun, right? So among the Jyotis, I am Ravihi. Ravi is the name of the sun. And what kind of Ravi? Ravi Anshuman. What is Anshuman? Rashmiman.
Radiant.
The one who has got powerful rays, one who is radiant. And therefore, among all the shining objects in the sky, I am the sun. Why so? Because of all the shining objects in the sky, the strongest light comes from whom? From the sun only, right? And Aditya is supposed to be a very famous mantra also. Which one?
Aditya Hridayam Stotra.
Aditya Hridayam Stotra. And do you remember why it is famous?
Ravana composed it.
No,
Is
not
that
It
the
was
reason?
Not
given
that.
to
Rama, Saint Agastya taught this to Rama so that he can win over Ravana,
Very
who had
good.
the
So
backing of lots of gods.
absolutely. So there was a time when Ravana, the battle was not, you know, giving any direction. So poor Ram also got depressed. Okay. So don't worry if you get depressed, because if Lord Ram can get depressed, it's okay for us to get depressed. So Lord Ram got depressed, wondering what to do. When Agastya Rishi came and said that you learn this Aditya Hridayam from me, it will give you victory. And therefore, Aditya is very much glorified in our tradition, which is why we say that you should get up before the sun rises. Brahma Muhurat is before the sun rises. Have your bath, because when the sun is rising, that sun is the first representative of Ishvara. And therefore, you should be fresh and ready to welcome the Lord before he rises. Therefore, wake up before the sun rises. As the sun rises, do your Surya Namaskar. Give him all due respect. That is the worship. Okay, Surya Namaskar is not something for you to develop your muscles. It develops your muscles is a different matter. Okay, but it is meant to be a form of worship. Then, Marichir Marutam Asmi. So, there is a different in heaven, Swarga, right? There are different groups of people. So, groups of devatas. So, there's a group of devata called as Maruta devatas, right? And why are there different groups of devatas? Because different devatas have got different sort of glories or powers. And how do they get different glories or powers? Remember that devata is nothing but a role that you perform. A jiva's role is devata. When the jiva generates punyam in his human avatar, as a jiva, as a human being, he generates lots of punyam. Some people generate more punyam than others, but those who have got the necessary punyam to go to swarga, to go to heaven, those lokas, some of them have got more punyam than others, so they become different groups of devatas, some with more powers, some with less powers. Okay. So, among those group of devatas, there is a group called the Maruta devatas. Maruta Ganaha they are called. And in that Maruta Ganaha, in the Maruta devatas, there are 7 groups of 7 devatas each. All this you will find in Puranas, okay? It's nothing very great. So, these 49 devatas, 7 groups of 7 devatas each, they preside over different types of breeze, Vayu Tattvam. Hence, there are different types of Vayu Devatas. So, he says, among these 49 Vayu Devatas, Maruta Devatas, I am Marichi. That's what it means. Marutam Asmi Marichihi. Among the Marutas, I am Marichi. And Marichi is the best. Why? Marichi is a tender, beautiful breeze. A cool, pleasant breeze which you will be, what do you call, what is it called? Experiencing on early morning or something, or a late evening. It is almost like an air-conditioned breeze, where you are very comfortable. That is the name of the breeze, which is very cool and gentle and pleasant, Marichi. So this is among all the types of winds, I am this Marichi, which is the most pleasant to everybody. Then Nakshatranam Aham Shashihi. Nakshatranam, among all the nakshatras. What are nakshatras?
Stars.
Yes. So broadly we can say all those planets which you can't see as planets, which we see as stars. Really speaking, a star is different from a planet. What is the difference?
All the shining things in the sky. I think that's what we need to take it as.
The
Yes,
star has its own light.
correct. The star has its own light, the planet doesn't. Right? That is a technical difference, but here that is not to be taken. It is to be taken as anything which shines the light. Why is the meaning there here? How is it different from Jyotihi? Jyoti can be any source of light. This is a source of light during the night. Therefore, among all the sources of light during the night, I am Shashi. What is Shashi?
The moon.
The moon.
And why is it being taken as an example here, as the best among the night sources of light?
It's
It's
the
the
best
brightest in the night.
Because it is the brightest among all the sources of light which you can see in the night. All the stars, even Venus, you can see the bright light. But Shashi, the moon, is much, much more bright. Okay? So this is what he's saying. What is being said, you must remember. Among all the glories, I am the best. In every verse, you will see that among all the glories, the best glory I am. That is what he's saying. The best among everything I am. Okay. So now we look at verse number 12. We will chant. Vedanam Samavedosmi.
Vedanam
Vedanam Samavedosmi.
Devanamasmi Vasavaha.
Devanam Vasavaha.
Indriyanam Manashchasmi.
Indriyanam Manashchasmi.
Bhutanamasmi Chetana.
Bhutanamasmi Chetana.
So Vedanam Samavedaha Asmi. Right? Among all the Vedas, I am Samavedaha. Now, why so? Any idea? Why is it said that? See, remember that when he is saying, I am so and so among all similar things, he is looking at the best among everything and he's saying that best represents me.
Because
I think
Samaveda
music
can be sung. It is said
Right.
to.
The
Samaveda
other
can set to music and therefore it is very beautiful. And therefore he says Samaveda is the best among all the Vedas. Remember that the reason. All Vedas are chanted, but the other Vedas, they have got only 3 swaras. What are 3 swaras?
Udatta, Anudatta, Swarita.
Right? Those are the Vedas and the other swaras. But there are other swaras also, excepting these 3. And Samaveda has got all the other swaras also. And therefore it can be sung. And therefore, if you hear a person chanting the Samaveda properly, I mean, person who actually studied, you will find it very, very beautiful. Therefore, Krishna claims, I am the Samaveda among all the Vedas. And Devanam Asmi Vasavaha. So as I said, all Devatas are basically a position. A position because of Punyam. And some Devatas have got higher powers. Some Devatas have got lower powers. Once the Punyam is exhausted, these Devatas will be reborn as other jivas, can be human beings, animals, whatever, right? So ultimately, Devatas are also jivas. We can think of them as jivas having superior punyam. And the more punyam you have, the better ranking you have among the Devatas. And who has the best punyam among all the Devatas?
Devendra.
Indra. That is why he is the king of the gods. That is why he is controller of all the Devatas. But remember that Indra is also a very superior jiva only. Jiva with lots of punyam. Most punyam among all the Devatas is Indra. But because he has the maximum punyam, he is the king. Okay. And therefore Vasavaha here is a name for Indra. Therefore among all the Devatas, I am the king of Devatas, Vasavaha. Then he comes down to the Vyashti level. Indriyanam aham manah asmi. Manaschasmi is Indriyanam cha aham manah asmi. Among the sense organs, I am the mind. Why is the mind said to be superior among all the sense organs? Remember that mind is also taken as the 6th sense organ. Therefore, among all the sense organs, which includes the mind, I am the mind.
Because it can control all the other sense organs.
Yes, you can take it like that. But remember that every sense organ is capable of functioning only in its own field. Eyes can function only in the field of sight. Ears can function only in the field of hearing. Eyes cannot do anything in the field of hearing. Ears cannot do anything in the field of sight. Therefore, each Indriya is capable of functioning only in the field of Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. But the mind takes input from all the Indriyas. What does it do? It interprets all this. Therefore, the mind has the capacity to function in all these 5 fields. Therefore, the mind is superior to the sense organs. And Krishna says, therefore, I am the mind among all the sense organs. Why is he saying all this? This has to be connected to what? This particular verse is connected to what? To the Ahangara Upasana.
Ananga.
Abheda Upasana, we have to connect. Why? Because the mind is the most superior among all the sense organs. The mind is the best alambanam you can have to invoke Ishvara. Therefore, learn to see the mind as a huge glory of Ishvara. The more I think of the capacity of my mind, the better I appreciate the vibhuti of Ishvara. And therefore, on that mind, you have to invoke Ishvara. Okay. Then, bhutanam asmi chetanaha. Among all the living beings, what am I? I am the very consciousness principle itself. This has already been said in verse number 20. Aham atma gudakeshaha. Right? But here he is saying, again he is repeating that I am the very chetana, the very word is used. I am the consciousness principle itself. Because only by engaging my mind which has consciousness, I can understand and inquire into Ishvara. Therefore, it is the highest glory. This consciousness principle, which gives me the capacity to inquire, it is the highest glory. Okay. One more verse we have time for. We look at verse number 23. Rudranam Shankarashasmi.
Rudranam
Shankarashasmi
Vittesho Yakshadakshasam.
Vittesho
Yakshasam
Vittesho Yakshara Akshasam.
Vittesho Yakshara Akshasam
Vasunam Pavakaschasmi.
Vasunam Pavakashtasmi
Meru Shikharinamaham.
Meru
Harinamaham.
Shikharinamaham.
So, if you have read the Puranas, you will find there is not just one Rudra. Okay, there are 11 Rudras. But among those 11 Rudras, who is the most important one?
Shankara.
Shiva.
It
Shankara.
is not the Lord Shiva. Okay, this Shankara is different. Why is it different? Very often you say Rudra and Shankara, Shiva is the same. That's a confusion. This is among the 11 Rudras, the most important Rudra is called Shankara. And Shankara means some Shan Mangalam Karoti, the one who gives auspiciousness to everybody. Shankara Aham Asmi. And that is why you chant Shanno Mitra Shamvarunaha. Right? So this is Shankara. Among the Rudras, he is the most important one. So Rudra means the one who gives you Mangalam, auspiciousness. Whoever gives you auspiciousness, what does he actually do? He removes sorrow, right? Dukkha nashakaha. And therefore, by way of that removal of sorrow, I am Shankara. Because Shankara is that Rudra who gives you freedom from sorrow. Okay, then Vitteshaha Yakshara. So Vitteshaha, Aham, Yakshaha, and Rakshasaha. So another group of devatas called the Yaksha and Rakshasha. Who is the lord of Yakshas and Rakshasas?
Kubera.
Vitteshaha. Vitteshaha. Why is Kubera called Vitteshaha? Vittishaha, lord of wealth. So I am Kubera. So Vitteshaha, Yakshaha, Rakshaha. So among the Rakshasas and the Yakshas, which is one group, I am Kubera, I am the lord of wealth. Vasunam Pavakaha Asmi. So the next group of devatas is the Vasus. There are 8 Vasus. Why are there 8 Vasus? Vasu presides over directions. So Vasus are 8 presiding over 8 directions. And among the 8 directions, remember that these are purifiers. And among all the purifiers, therefore, these Vasus are all purifiers in all the 8 directions. Among the purifiers, Pavakaha Aham. Pavaka is Agni, right? Agni is the greatest purifier. And that is why you put the dead body in the fire. Why? It is the best method of purification. Because that you wouldn't touch the dead body while it is a dead body. But when it is in the form of ash, you can put it on your head, right? You do know that the ash which you are supposed to put on your forehead, it is supposed to be from the graveyard, right? It is not supposed to be from wood and all that which you use now. I suppose you're aware of that?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
Your-
Mahakala temple in Indore, I think yeah.
Right. But then normally you don't go around finding dead bodies and burning them, and therefore
Yeah.
the ash which is used is of wood and all that. But literally speaking, it is that is why when you put the body into the fire, that inauspicious body gets converted into the auspicious ash. Ash, of course, reminds you that your body will also end up in the same state one day. So it's a method of meditation also. And from the Shastric angle also, the fire of knowledge purifies the mind. And that is why you start, at least in our culture, we start the day with lighting the lamp. Okay. Then Meruhu Shikharinam Aham. Shikhars are the mountains. Among all the mountains with the peaks, so Shikhar literally means pointing. So all the mountains, I am Meru. I am that Meru mountain. What is Meru mountain? Some people say Himalayas are the Meru, but you can take it either way. Among all the mountains, I am the highest one. And therefore, Meruhu Shikarinam Aham. I am among all the mountains, I am Meruhu, the highest mountain. Okay, a lot of chest beating, right? I am the best, I am the best, I am the best.
Yes.
So I am the best is just beating when it comes to us. But Krishna is only stating a fact. When you say Himalayas is the highest among all the mountains, it's only a fact. There is no chest beating involved over there. So with this, we'll stop. Any questions?
Om Acharya,
Om
I
Acharya.
didn't understand the. Sorry, Spandana,
Please
you
go
want to
ahead.
go? Yeah, I didn't understand the difference between you're saying that amongst the Rudras, Shankara and not Shiva. I didn't get that.
Rudras are a group talked about in the Puranas. Lord Shiva
Okay.
is supposed to be part of Ishvara. So
Okay.
don't go too much into this thing. You
Yes,
thoroughly
yes.
confused.
Yeah. No hair splitting, but just for my information. Yeah.
Om Acharya.
Yes, but
I was, I mean, I understand the point of these glorification verses, but I'm also wondering because
I mean, saying I'm the best is kind of saying I am also everything, right?
Yes.
But when you apply causation, it's also, Ishvara is also everything amangalam.
Yes. That also come. Right now it's not there, but it'll come later in the same text.
Right.
Yes, he speaks of gambling and all that.
Yeah, everything
That
amangalam.
yeah.
What
One
you must
verse
understand
for
why
him.
it is that inauspicious things are also Ishvara. Why is it so?
Everything is Ishvara.
That if you say
Everything.
that
Yeah.
evil is beyond Ishvara, like that's you have this God and devil concept.
Dvaitam again.
You have separated. It is that Dvaitam it
Mm.
is. If something is outside Ishvara, then Ishvara is no longer infinite. That is why you have to accept that evil is also there. But you must remember that evil and good are not from the Paramarthika level. At Paramarthika, there is no good, there is no evil. It is all Vyavaharika only. What I don't like, I call evil. Ishvara just calls it the law of karma.
So, Om Acharyaji, we say Ishvara is Sat Guna Pradhan. So, and Jiva is Rajas Pradhan. This is what we normally understand it as.
Correct.
So, when we are saying that Ishvara is everything, when he's talking of his glories, he's talking of the Sadguna aspect of it only,
Everything.
and then the...
No, everything. The glory includes everything. So you have to just wait and see the 10th chapter. You'll find that every single glory comes there.
And Acharyaji, this Bhutanam Asmi Chetana, this is the Chetana.
It's the Nirguna Chaitanyam, consciousness principle which keeps all bhutas alive.
So this is Nirguna glory.
This is Nirguna glory. You have to connect it to verse number 10.
Acharya, I didn't understand the... Sorry.
Yeah, please continue.
The concept of Mount Meru. We were talking about all the Himalayas. So Mount Meru is part of Himalaya, or I didn't know this.
Meru is taken as the highest peak. In the context of it, he says among all the mountains, I am Meru. So if you take it to modern day geography, then you have to say that Himalayas is the highest mountain. But Meru is a mythical mountain which kept growing. So that's supposed to be highest.
Okay. Also, Acharya, in Abheda Upasana, we are actually superimposing Ishvara. So right now we are not talking about his qualities, but we are just superimposing everything what we know about Ishvara over us, over our body or over our heart.
In the mind, you are putting in Ishvara, invoking Ishvara on the mind. The mind is a alambana.
So completely engulfing the mind with Ishvara.
Remember, it is imagination, visualization. There is no jnana here.
Yes, it's just a technique to get out of certain impurities.
To improve your mind, basically.
Okay, Acharya. Thank you so much.
Om Acharyaji.
Yes,
Acharyaji,
Amit.
Acharyaji, I have one doubt. Krishna, he knows the concepts of non-duality. So I'm just thinking if he's saying that, among all I'm the best. So is it not like talking about duality?
It is. We are talking about upasana right now. So it is duality.
Okay, got it.
You have to come to duality before you can jump to non-duality.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Acharyaji.
Okay, so with this we'll stop. Oh.
Om
Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you for your prayers.
Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Acharya.
Lovely knowledge.